Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we bring out our fighters to weigh in for this showdown, for the main event of the evening, for the WBC Heavyweight World Title Eliminator, let's take a closer look at two of the most dangerous and respected heavyweights in the world today, the Destroyer Andy Ruiz and Luis King Kong Ortiz.
My Mexican fans, I feel I let them down when I literally gave those belts back to him.
Ruiz frustrated there, cut up. He took punishment throughout.
I owe them so much. I gotta train my ass off. I want to become a champion again for them and for my legacy. It's my goal to become the best Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. And Luis Ortiz is a step closer to getting those belts back.
La pelea entre Andy Ruiz y yo está difícil desde el principio, porque él va a querer venir a buscar el knockout y yo soy de lo que me gusta, noquear. Andy Ruiz no es el peleador que yo soy mejor. Cuando derrote a Andy Ruiz el 4 de septiembre estaré a un paso más de ser campeón del mundo, el primer campeón cubano.
Ladies and gentlemen, Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for the Fox Sports PBC main event of the evening, brought to you by TGB Promotions, sponsored by DraftKings. At this time, we invite our fighters to the stage. First, fighting out of Miami, Florida, here's the renowned world-ranked heavyweight contender, the hard-hitting heavyweight force, Luis King Kong Ortiz. And his opponent from Imperial, California, and Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico, the current world-ranked contender, the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, the Destroyer, Andy Ruiz. And it's time to bring our fighters to the scale at this time for the main event, the WBC Heavyweight World Title Eliminator. First, with a record of 33 wins, 2 losses, 28 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is one of boxing's most dangerous heavyweights, Luis King Kong Ortiz. $245 1/4 pounds, $245 1/4 pounds for Luis King Kong Ortiz. And now to the scale with a record of 34 wins, 2 losses, 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is boxing's first heavyweight world champion of Mexican heritage, introducing the Destroyer, Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz weighs in at 268 3/4 pounds. 268 3/4 pounds.
Shawn, people are going to talk about this, right? 268 3/4. When he fought Joshua for the first time, he was 268 pounds. I feel like people are going to read into that and think this is a good sign for Andy Ruiz.
I feel like he put tattoos over the muscles. I didn't see as many muscles as I wanted to see, but I mean, it's good signs. If anyone's wondering what Andy Ruiz we're going to get tonight, look at the weight. It tells you it all.
Both men look like men who've put in the work, to be fair. Luis Ortiz is looking in good shape.
Luis does not put in the work. He's always ready for the challenge. And I think that we're going to get 2 great versions of both of these guys on fight night.
You're always trying to read energy a little bit of these things, right?
Yeah.
So what are you looking at? What are you seeing?
Well, he looks good. He looks happy. Looks healthy. And then Luis Ortiz is just taking his time. He's exactly where he wants to be. We're going to get a great fight.
And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. Premier Boxing Champions presents the Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view main event of the evening with a WBC Heavyweight World Title Eliminator, the Destroyer, Andy Ruiz versus Luis King Kong Ortiz.
All right, we are joined alongside by Luis King Kong Ortiz, who collides against Andy Ruiz here in Los Angeles on Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view. Luis, at this stage of your career, is this truly a make-or-break fight?
Bueno, ya digo, vuelvo a reponer lo dicho, ya no queda más nada que hablar. Sé que esto va a ser una pelea interesante de que el referee pare de hablar y vamos a salir a golpear, a buscar el golpeo, es el knockout. O él me noquea a mí o yo lo noqueo a él. Eso es la importancia de esta pelea.
That's the importance of this fight, and it's a very interesting fight. It's either he knocks me out or I knock him out. And of course, it's, you know, a make-or-break fight for me, this fight, because it's very important.
What can fans expect tomorrow night against Andy Ruiz?
Nada, que no se demoren en sentarse en la silla porque esto va a ser guerra.
There's going to be a war, so please be on your seat early so not miss any action.
Luis King Kong Ortiz, ladies and gentlemen. Now I will speak with Andy the Destroyer Ruiz Jr. Andy, you weighed in at 268, the same identical weight in which you tipped the scales when you defeated Anthony Joshua back in June of 2019 to become the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Why is 268 such a good weight for Andy Ruiz?
I don't know. I think God made me a champion at this weight, so there's no point of changing my weight just to look a certain different way, you know? So I feel good, I feel blessed, and I'm ready to rock and roll tomorrow, man.
How much of a statement do you want to make tomorrow night for the fans and also the rest of the heavyweight division?
I want to make a big statement, man. I'm here for the long run. I'm only 32 years old. I'm still learning from every fight that I'm going, you know? So I think right now is my moment. It's my year, and, you know, Luis Ortiz is a tough guy, and we know that, and that's why exactly we've been putting all this hard work in, so I'm ready to get it on.
And finally, what is the result going to be tomorrow night when you lock horns against Luis Ortiz here in Los Angeles?
God willing, we're going to get this victory. God's going to give me this victory.
Andy Ruiz, ladies and gentlemen, set and focused for his matchup against Luis King Kong Ortiz. Kate and Shawn, back to you.
Thank you, Ray. Kind of cool to see Andy Ruiz taking his son along for the ride, isn't he? He's up there on the stage. He's all iced out. He's got his Yeezys on. Swaggy.
Yeah, my son got to see my last fight, and he really experienced it. He's only 4, and I understood at that moment what it really means to the kids for them to see these moments.
Right.
See the daddies shine, you know?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Andy Ruiz, 3rd different trainer in 3 fights. We haven't spoken about that yet. So obviously he was with Manny Robles when he won against Anthony Joshua, Reynoso for the Areola fight, and then Alfredo Osuna now for this fight. As somebody who was with your father, who was your coach throughout your entire career, how do you look at that?
Well, I think if anything, what I'm looking at for Andy is who's going to get him to the promised land. And obviously, Manny was the one that got him there, but wasn't the guy after that point. So you go through Reynoso for just one fight, and then you move forward beyond Reynoso. So I think if anything, he's just trying to fill it out and see who's the best guy for me. At this point in time, I think that for me, I only had my dad my entire boxing career. I was 8 years old. You know, he's had a few guys, and so I think he's still just trying to fill it out.
Is that inconsistency, though? Is that a red flag for you?
If I'm being honest, yes, it is. It's a red flag for me because it lets me know that you don't have your identity, and you don't know who fits into your identity. You know, so obviously we talk about him, his weight fluctuating, him trying to find his identity in terms of where he wants to be, his body, so on and so forth. Now he's struggling to find his identity in the ring or in training, and it could have an effect in the ring on fight night.
Do you think that was going to say activity? Do you think he's been active enough to be at his best, Andy Ruiz, in this fight?
You know, a lot of guys can handle that in training. That was how I was. I wasn't as active as I wanted to be.
Is that really true? So why do we always talk about ring rust if that's the case?
I think people it's kind of a coin thing now that people talk about. I never believed in ring rust, and I know that there's a number of guys out there that show no ring rust once we get back in the ring, or once they get back in the ring. So I don't think it's a matter of that for Andy. I think that the time off can be beneficial for any fighter, and I think that it will be beneficial for him.
You and I got to work both of Luis Ortiz's fights against Deontay Wilder, right? What did you learn about Ortiz in those two fights?
Ortiz is who he is. I think that he just had moments against the guy, the only guy in the heavyweight division that you can't have a moment against. You know, so I think if anything, he's just gone back and looked at those moments and said, hey, I got to clean that up. I thought he cleaned it up against Charles Martin. I think that getting knocked down by Charles Martin also showed, or being able to get up also showed he was able to do what he wasn't able to do against Deontay Wilder.
Wait, so are you saying that the Luis Ortiz that you saw against Charles Martin was...
Don't twist up my words,
no,
by the way.
That's why I said, are you saying? I'm checking. I'm trying to figure it out. Are you saying that the Luis Ortiz we saw against Charles Martin was a better version of Luis Ortiz than the one we saw against Deontay Wilder?
Well, I think more prepared in terms of being able to get up off of the canvas. You know, you have to be in good physical condition to get up off of the canvas. It was better, and then responding after getting up. You know.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. There we go. We clarified it, Shawn. So good.
Get. You know.
We're going to go to a very quick break. We'll be right back in just a minute. Don't move. Thank you for watching. Well, if you enjoyed that clip, make sure you click somewhere around here and subscribe. From fight highlights to exclusive interviews, we have got everything you need as a boxing fan right here on PBC on Fox.